decide. They say $100,000, that's fine. So we get $100,000. Here's a potential list. You don't like this list? Come on, a better one. Something's got to go. Like it or not. We may think, I'm sure a case can be made for everything in here. It is the greatest thing since sliced bread. But you can't have the whole loaf. So what are you going to get rid of? Something has to go. I've made suggestions, and I'm going to say it right here with people in here and make sure you get this. There's a $300,000 sacred cow. Our extracurricular program. Athletics cost this town $300,000. And as I said at the last meeting, there are only 2 nations in the world where high schools run the athletics for the community. The United States and Canada. Everybody else, it's done by the community. I just gave you a way to save $300,000+. Let the town run it. Now that's not going to make me real popular, and I may not get out the door. Too bad.
Not popular anyway.
What is our obligation as a Board of Education? We are not elected to run an athletic program. We are elected to make sure our children are provided with an education that will help them in life. Now, I don't expect that to go through. Understand me, I'm saying that. And I know what's going to happen, but that's a reality. They just have to cut. Like that. Oh, we can't do that. But we sit here and say, well, we can get rid of an English teacher. We can get rid of a business teacher. We can get rid of a math interventionist. What's our obligation, folks? There's the bottom line. And again, I realize that.
It would be a flashback when I was first on the Board of Ed, when I came here with my kids. And we had a big save our sports, because we had no sports budget in East Haddam, and the parents did all the sports.
SOS.
So it wouldn't be the first time.
SOS, I remember that.
But, again, it's one of those things, who wants to do that?
We have to teach our children, but they're leaving.
All I'm trying to say is the reality is our primary obligation by statute, an obligation of the board is to see to it that children's education, English, history, math, science, language, that's our responsibility. The last time I checked, I didn't see any obligation in these other areas there, statutorily. And I'm sure there are people who know better. But we all sit here, I'm sure Jason can make a heck of a case for why any of these cuts are going to the academic program are going to be bad. Okay, we agree to that. Save me the trouble of saying it. I agree with you. But what are we going to do? You want to take this? Want to put something back? Take something out. It really's got to be. It's a zero-sum thing. To quote David Stockman, it's a zero sum. What you take out, what you put. In the end, they got to balance. They've got to balance it, and you know, I'm sorry that it's not pleasant to say it. And I think there are a lot of questions in terms of why wasn't this done and why wasn't that done, and a lot of balls were dropped. A lot of balls were dropped. And as even though I've only been on this board going on 3 years, I think we have to accept responsibility as a board for the balls that were dropped, and I accept that responsibility. Okay, there we go. Put it up there, right on the runs, hits, and errors. Put the error up. But it isn't going to change where we are. We've got to make unpleasant decisions, and they're not going to make people happy. And I'm sorry. And I say that, and I make this point for all of you, and I know there are folks out here that might recognize that for 10 years, I had a major responsibility for running interscholastic athletics in the state of Connecticut. When I say to you, let's look at the sacred cow, I sat on the other side of that fence. But you never hear people say that. You can't do that. Oh my God, we'll stop this and that and the other thing. No, it won't. Life will go on. But it won't go on if you don't have English, history, math, science, language, and the other things quite as well. What's our priority? Personal opinion. But I did, by the way, put up, didn't I? I did put up some.
Oh, yeah.
I certainly recommended the elimination of certain athletic programs.
And I totally agree with you. They're called extracurricular for a reason. they do have value though, they do add value to a student. So, you know, they're not just for fun and all that stuff, but I agree, if, you know, it makes it easy if you just want to, one fell swoop, and it's probably more than 300,000 add everything
It is.
together. Probably a lot more.
Lori? I have a question about the library parents. I'd just like to know what they do, and we have regular librarians, I'm assuming at each school, and parents are.
Our high school librarians teach classes as well, and we have pairs who are in the libraries, so the libraries can be open for students to utilize. Without those pairs, we would close
So
down the
what kind
library.
of classes do they?
So for instance, Gary Medley here teaches the video TV production classes, they teach media classes, they co-teach. I know Ava Bittner does a lot of co-teaching with their social studies departments. And
So it's because the librarians have other jobs also that.
the pairs allow the libraries to be open. Jason, you may be able to collaborate a little bit.
Oh, sure. And I think just popping by the school at any time to see it in action, we have a very good understanding about the role of the paraprofessional. It mainly comes down to the circulation desk and helping kids get books in and out effectively. So the librarian can be a librarian, can be a researcher. She does teach a 4th grade class. And with the double bell schedule at the middle school, the para allows us to stay open all day, from 7:30 in the morning till 3:10. But I mean, really, that's one of those, if you just pop in at any point in the day and see it in action, you would have a very good understanding.
Joanne doesn't.
That was one of our cuts, and it was a significant cut, really,
Right.
because right now, our library media specialist teaches 1-hour classes for K to 3 throughout the day, all week long, and there are parents even in our audience right now who fill that gap for us.
But that was one of my questions, so
It's very
could a
difficult.
parent volunteer do that work, but you can't always, if you cut the parent, there's no guarantee there's any parent volunteer there. So, but I just didn't know if it was even a possibility.
Very difficult, it's very difficult with that, very.
Are they able to split between schools, half a day at school, just for library stuff?
And once again, I think to see it in action, see the volume of the children come down, it's really nonstop all day every period. And so right down when the library needs to eat lunch, we have somebody there. And it extends the school day so we can keep it open from when the 8th graders arrive, when the 4th graders leave.
Would you think they're more valuable than the other 2 pairs they talk about district-wide? Does a library have that much for?
I've never considered a comparison, so I don't know, I think it's kind of a
I'm just wondering,
false choice.
The only other pairs we have, Mark, are kindergarten pairs or special ed pairs. And special ed pairs are different by IEP, so we really don't have any opportunity to eliminate those pairs. We looked at kindergarten pairs last year as a potential reduction, and that was something that we were.
that's because it put 2 pairs of district-wide, so I didn't know that's what they were referring to.
What are they referring to? How do they come up with 2 pairs district-wide?
It's just, numbers we put up there, like,
So we don't know where the, really the impact would be. How many pairs do we have?
For kindergarten, I'm not sure what count is yet on.
there's 4 kindergarten, 2 libraries, and
All the rest are.
my numbers, I have a number of like 24, but I don't know if that's right. But everybody else is special ed. So,
We have 20, we don't have 24 regular ed.
no, we have 4,
Plus the two.
And the rest
regular
are all
libraries.
special ed.
Correct.
and the rest are special ed.